watched a few of our videos here on the channel, you know very well that there are dozens, if not hundreds, of Easter eggs hidden throughout the Mario franchise movies. But did you manage to catch all the hidden details that the movie directors intentionally left behind so that we, the fans, could figure them out all on our own? First girlfriend. A lot of people have absolutely no idea about this. But the truth is that the very first damsel in distress to be rescued by Mario in his own gaming franchise wasn't Peach, but actually Pauline. Yep, the exact same one who shows up as a world-famous singer in the opening and during a few key story moments in the game Super Mario Odyssey. And precisely because she is such an incredibly important figure in the history of the Mario franchise, she was included as an Easter egg in the first movie featuring the Plumber Brothers, acting as the mayor of New York City during that scene where we see the massive flood, exactly as we explained in our video, breaking down the details and Easter eggs in the Super Mario Bros. Movie. And we all know that there's a distinct difference between the lore of the games and the lore of the Mario movies, which becomes super clear with the revelation that Rosalina and Peach are sisters, since they aren't even related in the video games. With all of that being said, it is heavily believed that possibly, within the lore of the movie franchise, Pauline will return as nothing more and nothing less than Mario's old girlfriend. What really reinforces this possibility is the fact that in Super Mario Galaxy, very little was seen of Mario's hometown, and because of that, Pauline didn't get her chance to shine, which points toward a major, grand-style return for the character. As we know, Mario and Peach have never been as close as they were at the end of Super Mario Galaxy, so having Pauline show up as Mario's ex-girlfriend, and as a highly powerful woman, she is the mayor of New York after all, would totally shake up the foundations of the romance between the Mushroom Princess and the mustachioed plumber. I don't know about you, but I think it would be absolutely awesome to see Peach having a full-blown jealousy crisis over Mario. What about you? Well, buckle up because we are just getting started and now we are going to blow your mind. Avenger Yoshi. One of the absolute biggest and best surprises of the movie, without a doubt, is Yoshi. However, as we can see in the little green dinosaur's flashback, during that final battle in the first movie, he ended up hatching down in the Brooklyn sewers, and down there he went on a pretty intense journey. But the most interesting detail lies in the fact that many people didn't even realize it. But while Yoshi is in Mario's city, he kind of acts like an avenger, even without knowing it, for the Mario Brothers. That's because we see him doing things to characters who only ever did bad things to the heroic brother duo. For example, while passing by a diner in Brooklyn, we see that Yoshi simply steals a slice of pizza from none other than Spike, that guy who was originally Mario and Luigi's boss, before they quit to open up their very own plumbing business. If you remember correctly, you'll recall that Spike even shoved Mario around in the first movie. Besides that, we see him at another moment where Yoshi just straight up swallows and turns Francis into an egg. You know, that dog who literally tried to end Mario and Luigi's lives during the duo's very first plumbing job. In other words, the subliminal message from the movie's animators that very few people picked up on is, never mess with the Mario Brothers, because it will bring consequences. Magic Paintbrush creator. Without a doubt, Bowser Jr. proved to be a truly formidable enemy for our duo of heroes, who even with Yoshi's backup, had a really tough time making it out of Peach's castle alive after it was abducted by the villain's mothership. Seriously, those fight scenes were just completely off the charts. However, if you stop and think about it, you'll notice that a huge chunk of the Koopa King's son's powers actually comes from that magic paintbrush. So, did you ever catch yourself wondering exactly where that paintbrush came from and how in the world it ended up in Bowser Jr.'s hands? The truth is that even in the video games, the way the paintbrush ends up in Junior's hands isn't explained all that well, but it is revealed that it's a creation of the most brilliant mind in the entire Mario gaming universe, Professor E. Gadd. And if I told you that the creator of the paintbrush actually appears in the movie, would you believe it? Yep, the reference to the mad scientist is right there in the exact scene where Kamek shows up saying he is extremely proud of Bowser Jr. right after he manages to capture Rosalina. And if you look closely, you will notice that he is holding a mug that has Professor E. Gadd's exact face right on it, heavily implying that either the scientist is doing forced labor for the Koopas, or he's simply a buddy of the supreme wizard of the evil turtles. I guess we are going to find out more about that in the third Mario movie. Peach's parents. Another thing we are absolutely going to discover in the Super Mario Bros. Movie 3, and which was partially introduced in Super Mario Galaxy, is the true origin of Peach and Rosalina. The movie glosses over it, but it doesn't make it exactly clear how the sister cosmic princesses actually came into existence. And just like everyone else, it is highly likely that they had a mother who brought them into the world, and by extension, a father as well. Considering that the two of them were already born with the status of princesses, even if only Rosalina had a crown at that specific moment, it isn't hard to imagine that their mother and father are the king and queen of some distant cosmic kingdom. But the burning questions we would love to get answered are these. What exact kingdom would that be? And at the end of the day, why did they never go looking for their two daughters? We are practically certain that this is going to be one of the things we'll get to see in the next Mario movie. And just between us, I am incredibly anxious to find out. Are they aliens? Super Mario Galaxy definitely expanded, by a lot, the lore and the existing kingdoms within the franchise, since we now know that space travel is not only normal, but it's something that has always been happening. And for that very reason, coupled with the fact that Princess Daisy showed up in the post-credits scene, we know that it's highly likely that in Super Mario 3 the main villain is going to be the alien Tatanga, who invades the Sarasalan kingdom to force Daisy to marry him. So beings from outer space are going to become more and more frequent. However, if we really stop to think about it, we are going to have to admit that even Peach and Rosalina could technically be considered extraterrestrial beings. That's because any being that is not born on planet Earth is technically an extraterrestrial. And, according to some hardcore Mario fans, there's even a solid basis for us to consider the two princesses as sort of aliens, since apparently the lore is heading in a direction that shows their parents aren't even real humans, but rather the rulers of a distant galactic kingdom. So, the big question is, do you think that once he realizes this, Mario is still going to be just as deeply in love with Peach? Our guess is absolutely, without a doubt. It's just impossible for the plumber not to love the Mushroom Princess. Isn't that right? Before we continue, just a quick heads up. If you also enjoy movies, series, and cartoons, click the subscribe button right now, alright. Donkey Kong Movie. Right before the release of Super Mario Galaxy, some supposed post-credits scenes from the second Mario movie ended up leaking online. And in one of them, it was possible to see Donkey Kong back in his home kingdom, the very same one where he and Mario fought in the first movie, and out on the horizon, there is a giant flying pirate ship approaching Donkey Kong Island. And commanding this flying ship would be none other than King K. Rool, the pirate crocodile who serves as the tie-wearing gorilla's main nemesis. However, after Super Mario Galaxy was actually released, we saw the two post-credits scenes attached to the movie, and neither of them was that one. So we can safely deduce that the scene we just mentioned before was actually nothing more and nothing less than a leak for the DK movie, and a glimpse of what his storyline is roughly going to look like. Which just goes to confirm that we are genuinely about to witness the dawn of the Nintendo Cinematic Universe very, very soon. And if the Fox McCloud movies and the Kirby movie actually get released, this universe is going to become even more massive. Koopalings. Speaking of post-credits scenes, one of them shows exactly our old acquaintance Luma Lee, just purely terrorizing Bowser and Bowser Jr. as they are digging a hole to try and escape from the intergalactic prison. Even though they are scared to death of this super cute little jailer, there are huge chances that they will actually end up escaping from there. But it won't be on their own accord. Instead, it will be with the help of the most powerful Koopas of all, right behind Bowser and Bowser Jr., the Koopalings. Considered by many to be the other children of the Koopa King, they are an elite squad that has already given Mario a ton of trouble in the video games, and so far they haven't shown their faces in the first two movies of our hero. Which leads us to deduce that it's practically a sure thing they will be in the third movie, and should be the ones responsible for breaking their father and their brother out. But not just that, they will probably help lead us to someone that every single fan of the Mario movies is dying to finally meet. Mrs. Bowser, who is the mother of all of them. Yes, because contrary to what the games might imply, they didn't just pop up out of nowhere. All of them have to be the children of the exact same Koopa Queen, Yoshi's Island. Something that was briefly shown in the first movie, but ended up not being explored in depth in Super Mario Galaxy, is Yoshi's Island, the absolute homeland of Luigi and Mario's newest buddy. In a really quick segment of the first movie, we see that Mario, Peach, and Toad pass by it very briefly. And the next Mario movie could be the absolute perfect opportunity for us to get to know the land of the Smiling Mountains and Singing Flowers much better, as well as getting to meet Yoshi's own family, since absolutely none of that was shown in Super Mario Galaxy. Who knows, maybe even a good chunk of the next adventure could take place in this absolute paradise, inhabited by tons of colorful dinosaurs with enormous tongues. Just like Yoshi, would Peach be married? Remember when we said that Peach and Rosalina's parents are certainly going to show up in the Super Mario Bros. Movie 3? Well, there is a massive chance that not only will that happen, but we will also get to meet none other than the princess's promised fiancé. Let's remember that noble families always marry suitors that their parents carefully select, and with Peach, it isn't going to be any different, at least in theory. And if we stop to think about it, this wouldn't actually be the first time that the Mushroom Sovereign had a fiancé. And that's because in the 1986 animated movie, it's revealed that she was promised to marry a prince from the Flower Kingdom who had been transformed by Bowser into a dog that looked an awful lot like a caterpillar. However, even if all of this does go down in Super Mario 3, knowing Peach, it's highly unlikely she would ever marry someone she doesn't actually want to. Bowser can definitely vouch for that, right? Besides that, it's becoming more and more obvious that she has a thing for a certain someone who is short, a little chubby, and rocks a really big mustache, if you catch my drift. Luigi is stronger. Now, let's talk about something that is honestly super controversial, but actually makes total sense. Have you ever noticed that Luigi, despite being incredibly easily scared, is actually stronger than Mario? Think about it with me. Mario went through some grueling, intense training with Peach, where he ate countless mushrooms and was left completely exhausted from taking so many beatings. And after all of that, he genuinely got way more agile and strong. However, Luigi didn't go through any of that whatsoever, and even so in the final fight against Bowser, Luigi not only manages to block the Koopa King's final attack against his brother, which is already something totally worthy of praise, but he also managed, right alongside Mario, to dish out a serious beating to the giant lizard after the two of them grabbed the power of the special star. In other words, naturally, Luigi seems to have way more physical predisposition to be a hero than Mario does, but he is just way too scared to step up and take on that role, thereby leaving his older brother as the main hero of the story. We've reached the end of this video, but if you like having your mind blown, this is the right place. That's why we left 2 really good videos for you to click, watch, and best of all, stay with us.